When the chicken finally comes home to roost, and when the market is on fire, and even the blind and the deaf, we get to know because the heat will be generated. I wasn't just at the 2014 National Conference, with all respect, without humility. I was at the 2005 National Political Reform Conference. I was at the 1999 Vision 2020 Conference. And I was at the 2014 National Conference, where all these issues concerning restructuring, devolution of power, through fiscal federalism, continue to come up again and again like a recurring decimal. But each time we did a good job, like during the 2014 National Conference, when the best first 11 of Nigeria, that one person who used to be secretary to the government of the federation, called boys, he said it was giving jobs to the boys. We got the best from Nigeria, first-class traditional rulers, professionals, the youth, artisan, market women, students, the academia, the labor, trade unions, retired police officers, military officers. In fact, the who is who in Nigeria. They were at that conference. And after argument for about 6 months, at times almost coming to blows, we finally reached so many consensual decisions. One of them was this restructuring, devolution of powers. Sure, I'm not just a lawyer, with all respect, I'm an historian. So I like at times to situate my discourse within the perspective of history, because today is the tomorrow you discussed yesterday. I'm calling on the federal government to bring back history to our syllabus, because we are losing something. Nigeria is not like America in terms of federalism. In the United States of America, after their declaration of independence in 1776, they met in this place in Philadelphia. They were already regionally autonomous. And they said we needed to have a more perfect union. That was how they ceded powers to a government that they formed at the center. But in Nigeria, all regional blocks were already autonomous. The Benin Empire, the Kane Bonu Empire, the Sokoto Caliphate, the Oyo Empire, they already existed in their full bloom with all powers to do all things. That was why Oba Overamin Ogbaise in 1787 was able to beat the British with bare knuckles, which led to the 1897 punitive Benin expedition. But somehow, Lord Lugard, on the 1st of January 1914, after he married a young lady called Flora Shaw, who actually gave Nigeria her name in an 1897 article she wrote in the London Financial Times. After Niger area, she later married Lord Lugard, who was then the governor of northern Nigeria. And Lord Lugard decided to calibrate and collapse the Southern Protectorate, which had already merged with the Lagos colony, with the Northern Protectorate to form the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Since then, there have been these combustive implosions. So when you talk about restructuring, some people are afraid of it. And we say no. Restructuring does not mean balkanization. It's not Southern and it's not Southern Sudan and Sudan.
Okay.
After all, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. They were once one country.
We cannot do anything, either call it restructuring, call it whatever, decentralization of powers from the federal to down to the local government cannot be done until we follow due process. Part of this due process is all these agitations that are coming up. We call them stakeholders and the Nigerian citizens. We have the right to agitate for anything. But then there are due process. Since the constitution is in place now, and it has not been abrogated or even suspended by any military coup whatsoever. So we follow. The constitution has allowed for this amendment alteration. Even if we want to suspend our constitution, there are processes. But
there are processes according to the constitution?
Yeah. For instance, we can conduct stakeholders like, okay, let me take it, call it South-South zone, and call it even on state basis. People can agitate. People can submit their submission, just like the recent concluded Southwest Summit, as they did. That is their position. Nobody is going to say, look, they have faulted in concocting or putting together their thought. It's right, pursuing their fundamental right, either as a group or as an individual. Vis-a-vis, but that doesn't mean that whatever decisions they reach, whatever point or hypothesis they are presenting is not binding until it has been subjected to the laws of the nation. As of now, we remain, the unitary aspect of Nigeria is still in place. But if people felt this unitary nature or the unity of nation, the Nigeria as a nation should be, I mean, we have to restructure it. Whatever. Now we have 3 systems of government. You know, we have the federal government, and people felt so many powers are concentrated in the federal or central government, call it. Then we have the state and then the local government. Presently, the National Assembly is equally disturbed that there has never been this proper separation of roles as far as these 3 levels of government is concerned. I can't call it tier, but levels. You know, in as much as we decry the issue of concentration or even over-concentration of powers in the federal, at the federal or at the center, with little power to the state, and then none or even to the local government. But the Constitution has given the local government role, which is not being pursued. One part of the reason is that if we can limit ourselves even to the present law as it is, every level of government will play its role. But we are not even conducting the governance pursuant to our Constitution. That is one. 2, because of development, you remember the development of constitutional development, right from the MacPherson up to 1963, 1966, up to this 1999 as amended. Even the 1999 has been amended, what we are using today, 2017. If people have called for a review, alteration, amendment of the Constitution to suit our purposes, nothing is wrong with that. So to me, rather than, I really agree totally that Nigeria has to be restructured vis-a-vis the modern challenges if we really want to live at this jet age, not even computer age, at this age. And Nigeria have to wake up to the realms of realities. I will give you just a simple example. For instance, if you take the Federal Minister of Education, all our curriculum and everything is being done. Until and unless you have an astute minister who listens to voice of wisdom, it takes longer time for us to adjust our curriculum, for it to reach the secondary school.
I'm just wondering, though.
So I'm just giving an example.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say here is that rather than returning to regionalism, reducing, so, you know, creating the center, region, state, and even local government, you are now introducing a 4th level from the position of the Southwest, because that's what it takes.
Yeah, some people say that that time, you know, that there was Nigeria looked more viable. You know, the country worked better then. You know, it would seem the development got to people at the grassroots better than, you know, this system where the center is top heavy and very little is getting to the people.
And I'm coming to that, Mape. That is what I want to address the people. Let's take examples. We are following the system of government, or we copied grossly our system of governance from the Americans. That's how they developed. You don't go back. How many years, how many decades? From 1963 up to 1966, when this regionalism is being adopted, up to the time that we had 12 states.
Why shouldn't they go back? If they found that that is what has worked for them, that's from their experience so far.
The issue,
that's
the issue is that we have achieved a level of autonomy when we kind of disintegrated into state. People, even in the Southwest, you discover the Osun State fell. He is more buoyant than Ikiti. Lagos fell. They are more buoyant than, what do you call it, Ogun State. So that boundary adjustment. For you now to coerce people to come together, to break these boundaries, Okay, where are you taking Kwara to join there? Are you going to realign, to redefine the geographical something? Rather, we should develop it. So let me give you, United States, they have more than 50 states in the United States. They have never regrouped them. They are even acquiring more states, like Alaska, Texas, you know, but I don't want to go into that. It's not a topic for another thing. But let's take the state of California, one of the 50 states of the United States. They don't have to come as a cluster, but even at a state, if we reframe and realign, alter our constitution to give more powers to this present constituent state, 36 state and Abuja, we will thrive. I'm giving you California. California, world over, is the sixth most viable economy.
Welcome back, my people. I think you have watched the video, and here waiting, these two persons that spoke in the video said, you know, ever since we did for this country, we have been talking about restructuring this country, for this country to work well. You know that, okay, many regions for this country, some are benefiting and some are not enjoying at all. That's why you see restructuring, then they bring and come to the carrier and go back tomorrow. That's why this year, you know, the thing we see, the only thing we see go even help this country, no be only restructuring. The only thing we see go help this country now division kwata before, because even though they restructure this country now, people will go still dey at the top, they go see they finish the thing we say is supposed to belong to their people again. Now we see some people no know. Although the way country dey now, the way it did now, if they cannot divide this country, make them restructure am. Wetin we get to talk. Even as this northern man wey be say na dey see for my screen, dey against the restructuring, they use one thing as an excuse, say if they restructure this country, this one, that one, blah blah blah, in the talk. Now even when be saying the talk, I no sure say that even go fit work. You know, say okay, the way this country dey now, they don't divide them already. The way they do their thing now, because southerners now and northerners now just they do their thing as if okay, they no be brother again. Now why me I say make they restructure this country, make people benefit. You know, so okay, the way this country dey, if anybody like from the three major languages obviously we get for this country, if any part can climb power like President Tinubu and many other people obviously they don't rule before, you know, say now only their own people now that they know. Now why many people now they come for restructuring now be that the only thing we say if you help us for this country or more, now it go be that restructuring. I don't have anything to say about this restructuring matter again. And you will say they hear us now. What do you think about this thing? What we say they happen now? May they restructure this country or may they divide? Just drop your thoughts in the comment section. And also, if today is your first time here, please make it like, share, and also subscribe. Thank you.